Welcome to another episode of Candid Moments with Candace. Today, my guest gives back to the community so much, and she's very passionate about her business. She is the founder and president over at StaffStat, and she'll tell me all about what she does. Please help me welcome Sheri Tomchick to the microphone. Hi, Sheri.
Thanks, Candace. Thanks for the wonderful introduction. I appreciate that.
Of course. We've been meaning to do this for a while, and I'm glad that we were able to connect. A little bit of backstory about how we met. The last time I saw you was at Easter Seals this year, Dancing with the Stars. But I have this photo, and I'm not sure if you have the same one. There's a photo of the executive team holding up a certificate from the Sudbury Noon Hour Toastmaster Club over 10 years. So 11 years ago this month, we founded that together.
Yes, I joined that club. You guys, you and Sandy and Michelle, there was a bunch of you that got that club running. And I hadn't even known what Toastmasters was. And I was starting my business back then, and I was pretty shy. And I joined, and you were one of the first people that I met. And your story inspired me. You were so warm and so welcoming. And I remember seeing the first time you went up for table topics, and I'm like, I'm going to be just like her. Like, you were so poised and so confident. You definitely inspired me when it was Toastmasters, Candace. I wanted to always tell you that.
I have never heard that from you. Thank you, Sheri.
You walked right up there. You did your table topic, and I was like, okay, that's what that's about. Okay, I had no idea what table topics even was.
Right, but then that's what we have to do. We have to lead by example, and then once you step out of that comfort zone, then magic happens.
Yeah.
So what are 3 things today that you are grateful for?
Oh my goodness, what am I grateful for? Well, first of all, I'm grateful for my daughter and my family. People, I often hear from my own coach, people come to teach. My daughter has taught me so much in her 15 years of life. And so definitely her and my family. The second thing that I'm grateful for is my team and my community, which is sort of the same thing, but my team lives in my community. I get to dream big dreams about taking care of our most vulnerable Canadians. And God, there's no way I would be able to do that without all of the amazing people that I have around of me. And I guess the next thing I'd have to say, just because I'm right off the top of my head, table topics, is I'm grateful to live in a city like this, in a country like this, in a province like this, where women can do what they dream and they want to do, and that there's nobody stopping me because of my gender, that I'm able to come to the table. And it's not always easy. Even when I started, you could still feel that, because my voice is a little, I've brought it up a bit since, but my voice is a little bit lower or calmer or whatever, and not being taken seriously as much. So I'm just grateful that I get to be a woman doing what I love to do, which is taking care of people.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. I love that. That's so empowering. I am grateful for this summer weather, a new business opportunity in my life, a new love in my life, that this interview, and I am grateful for empowered women in our community. I love that. I think that's a good intro to where we're going. So it's called StaffStat. What happened to Plan A Healthcare?
So I have 2 companies, right? So Plan A, long-term care staffing recruitment, is a staffing company that does use StaffStat for sure, and that is a staffing strategy for senior care across the country. But StaffStat is my second company, is my third baby, and that is a technology. So that is an application that is helping long-term care homes and hospitals all over the country optimize their staff and communicate and connect with their staff. And it's been a very exciting ride for both of those companies.
Wow. Technology company to help with senior care.
Yes, that's what we do.
That's amazing. When did you start that one? The second one?
Staff Stat was started, so Plan A was started in 2011, and initially Staff Stat was built in 2012. So it was built really by me, which so funny that I would be one of those people building my own app right out of the gate. But what happened was my business blew up too fast, and I needed some technology to help me mitigate these shifts that were coming in. I didn't realize I was going to build a whole tech company out of the technology, but what happened was when the partners, my long-term care and senior care partners, were using the app to access my team of thoroughly screened healthcare professionals, they were like, well, how do I get to use this? I want to use this. And so it's been over 9 years now that Staff Stat has been coming to life, and it is really and it has an interesting story of its own, but it's really come to life, especially after the pandemic. People realize that they can't be calling down the list anymore. Can you work? Can you work? It just doesn't work, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, tell me more.
Well, why don't I tell you a little bit about how the two companies work together?
Perfect.
Okay. I often wonder what comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? So in my story, the chicken is Staff Stat and Plan A is the egg. Let's put it that way. And we used to bring people first, because when there is an emergency, it doesn't matter how much technology you have. A technology cannot bring a body into a building and make sure that our seniors get care, that they get fed, that they get bathed, that they get up out of bed. You know what I mean? So we always ran into people first, people first, people first. But after many, many years of doing this, we've been able to collect a tremendous amount of data. We have a lot of internal and external staffing data for the senior care sector, and we realize it does start with technology first. So what happens when somebody uses our strategy? So we're not an agency, we're not a tech company, we're a strategy for senior care. And if we use it properly and we use it with the steps, we can actually create an environment where people want to come to work and take care of our seniors, and they work in what I call Plan A 95% of the time. But it takes work, Candace. It can't just happen, blink your eye, do it once. Kind of like I use the analogy about babies and their hats. You have a baby, you put their little hat on their head, they pull their hat off their head, and then you put that hat back on that baby's head, and he pulls that hat off the head, and you put it back on, pull it off, on and off. Finally, they're 2 or 3 and they realize, like, the hat stays on the head. So it's the same thing with this. You can't just tell somebody do it once and then they do it. So with us, technology, you start with the technology. What it does is it allows for people to see way in advance when shifts are coming into their home. So it has a predictability. So it uses AI, artificial intelligence or machine learning algorithms, and it pulls out data to tell homes where shifts are going to be ahead of time. It has a tool that I can communicate with people, so I can say, yo, team, you did a great job this weekend. So leaders can now connect with their teams a lot more frequently in their more preferred method of communication, right? If you're emailing your team anymore, it's not the same as getting a text or a video that says, Candace, I love being on your show, you're doing a great job, as me sending you an email that says that was a great time on your show, right? So and then when that happens, they know ahead of time when there's shifts, it goes through every one of their staff now, not leaving any staff unasked for shifts, which we can't do like this, because if you have 300 staff, can you work? Imagine doing that 300 times. It's possible. And then the second part of that is, if they don't find anybody, if nobody's coming in for the shift, on the technology, there's this little button that says post to the A team, and the A team is the Plan A system. And so then that's how we get them a backup plan. Now, Plan A is a really interesting company as well. And what that is a staffing strategy. So this is where we bring the people in. So we have 50 locations across Canada now. And these locations hire people, thoroughly screen people, make sure that we're getting the best people that we can. And so we can cover pretty much the whole entire country if there's a staffing shortage. So it works. It does start with the tech though, and they must use the tech properly to get to the people. But we are now, when we started the pandemic, we had 200 nursing homes using our system, which was pretty big. Like, it had grown fast. Well, today we have over 800 nursing homes and senior care homes working with us that we're working with across the country to help them with their internal staffing strategy.
Amazing. Senior care homes.
Yeah, so that will be long-term care homes and retirement homes. So we only service senior care because that's where there seems to be a giant miss, and also it's where my passion is. And my thoughts are also, if we keep the seniors in their homes, it stops them from going to the hospital unnecessarily at the same time as well, which there's a buildup of people in the hospital that shouldn't be in the hospital too, right?
Right. My
Yeah.
grandmother is one of those.
Oh yeah, there's nowhere for your grandma to go.
No, she's in a senior, like, long-term care facility. Is that what it's called? The long-term care?
Yeah,
It's like
senior care,
yeah,
long-term care.
like it's a residence, a
Yeah,
nursing home. Yeah. Like, she lives there, but she doesn't have to go to the hospital anymore because the care is there.
yeah.
She was palliative at one point last year, and they gave her a walker. And then the next day she went, "No, you guys can have this back. I'm fine.
Wow.
I'm not going out." She's gonna go out on her terms. She's 87 years old.
Oh, you've got longevity in your favor, eh?
Yeah,
That's amazing. Sorry,
yeah,
my phone, let me turn that off.
yeah,
Another thing too is, like, you think of your 87-year-old grandma, if she gets ill, you want her staying there. You know, they say that when a senior makes it into a nurse hospital, their quality of life starts to decline each day that they're there. They're like, they need to be in their home, which is the nursing home or the retirement home, right?
yeah. Comfort.
Hmm.
So what's your background?
Well, I had a variety of different diplomas under my belt before I became a registered nurse. So worked as a registered nurse briefly. I actually didn't spend a lot of time working on the floor as a registered nurse. I spent about 4 or 5 years. And, you know, like Steve Jobs says, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. So when I actually look back, I look back to studying nursing. I look back to my hospital career, and then after my nursing stint, I spent some time coordinating and teaching a personal support worker program in the community. So I taught about 200 and well, not about, I taught exactly 219 PSWs, and so I could see how my idea continued to percolate. And then after that job, that's what led me to thinking about self-employment. I was a terrible employee, Candace. I
Yeah.
I was dependable. I was smart. Like, I knew my stuff. But I always wanted to change the system. I always wanted to be like, we can do better. There's a better way to do this. I know it. Well, that doesn't work when you're a public employee of the hospital, right? Like, they have serious policies and processes and procedures for a reason. And I was always very entrepreneurial, like wanting to promote this, change this, do this. So it was, when I look back, it always led me to this. But you didn't know. You don't know until you do that. You know what I
You
mean?
have to go through those steps in order
Yeah.
to find your niche.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So Sheri, you're a game changer.
Well, I don't
Legit.
know if I'm a game changer. I just know that I'm always thinking there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. And technology really, you know, it's not that I mean, I'm 50. Like, I'm not a major techie. Like, I mean, I can absolutely get by, and I'm not fearful of it, and I do embrace it, and I do enjoy it. But I'm actually, you know, I wasn't in that generation where, you know, so for me to be tech's going to change the way, that's me understanding how important technology is. It can also make us look stupid sometimes too, when I think my
Yeah.
GPS, take a left, okay, now do a legal UE, like, what, why didn't I just turn in there? So sometimes technology you know, we
And
can
it was,
think,
and it can steer you the wrong way as well.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
So that's huge when um, technology fails us.
Oh
And when
God.
you and your company depend on technology, what happens when it fails? Like, what's your backup plan?
Well, I mean, obviously from a technology standpoint, we've made sure that we are covered. But let's go back to that time like 20 years ago when the power went off for 3 days. Remember when
Yes.
that was the heat wave and the air conditioners blew out the power? Well, in our situation, we would go right back to the good old fashioned way of phoning down the list, right? We would have no choice. It would be all hearts on deck and we would be calling down the list. When that does happen, though, if it did happen, it would really give us an appreciation for the app that we use, because it just that is the game changer for sure.
Amazing. The app is called StaffStat.
Yeah.
And the PSWs, is it for nurses and PSWs?
It's actually right now we service nursing and PSWs. However, we're launching a whole other arm of our business this fall. So it's a pretty big project that we've been working on. It's been about a year and a half. And so we're launching an arm of our business called Plan A Allied. And so that we're bringing on 17 brand new designations to our model. And what that will do is it'll allow us to capture the rigmaroles of the whole entire staffing that senior care needs. So if they need an administrator, we'll grab them an administrator. If they need a physiotherapist, so we're going to encompass the whole entire needs of senior care, which needs to happen. There is nobody doing it at all in our whole entire country. So we're very pleased to be the first and only company bringing this many thoroughly screened staff to the sector.
That's amazing. Did so the when are you starting to promote this? I know you're working behind the scenes on it.
So we're already started to promote the coming soon. We've already got some buy-in from our major partners. So we have some really big partners in our space. So one of our larger ones are going to be on the pilot. They've already signed up for that. So we're thinking the fall. The big thing is that we have to make sure that our whole system is ready to take on such a new project. So we've got a little bit of work to do with frontline still right now, but I mean, we're working on it all the time. And then we'll have the training here in Sudbury. So we have multiple owners of Plan A's. So I'm also a franchisor, which I'm sure you know. And so I've franchised my business model to make those 50 locations. So the franchisees would come to Sudbury for a couple of days of in-house education, because interviewing, for example, maybe an administrator, somebody who's running the whole entire home, is not the same interview we're going to have maybe with a cook or a nurse, right? So we've got to make sure that we're educating them to not just ask the right questions, but be able to listen to the right answers to make sure we're bringing in the best. So there's a little bit of work. So this fall, though, it will be launched, and we will be the only company across the country bringing a complete people strategy to the sector.
Amazing.
Yeah, thank
That's
you.
going to provide, congratulations. That's going to provide so much more for your business, for the community. It will have its challenges, its ups and downs. What are you excited for with this venture?
Well, you know what? My whole entire goal with this business has always been to take care of the people that take care of the most vulnerable people, right? And what that means is two things. First of all, it means creating awesome jobs for people. My own nursing career fizzled out rather quickly because of severe burnout and understand, like, not having a backup plan and saying yes all too often because I knew how hard it was to work understaffed. So taking care of people first. And I believe with our model, we give we pay, not only do we pay well, because pay well goes only so far, right? We take really good care of our people where, we make sure to give them opportunities for growth and development and benefits and that sort of thing and education, but also we give them flexible scheduling too. And we do it in a way that can still honor seniority, collective agreements. So first of all, I'm really excited that I'm creating a job model, a job offering that's going, in healthcare, Candace, there's no hybrid models. There's no remote work. There's no Zoom meetings. They have to be there in person to take care of the people. That's something they're never going to get, right? So we're
Right.
giving a model that allows them to plan their work around their life, not their life around their work. Like they can still work full time and have 4-day weekends with their family. They can still, so we're creating something really special. And my thoughts are, if we can launch this in senior care first, it'll give us a better chance of grabbing more people to take care of the seniors. So that's the first thing I'm excited about. And the second thing is, we are creating something super new and super unique. And, there's not a lot of times in your life that you get to be first in the market with something super excited. I'm pumped for my team. They have been helping me build this strategy. This is their win, as well as mine. And I'm excited to see these years of hard work come to fruition and that it's being widely accepted across the sector. And I want to see my team's success from this, because it wouldn't be fun if it was just me at all, So
No.
I've stepped back into a founder position for Planning now. So I have a CEO and president running it, and I'm mentoring her as the successor and watching her make mistakes, make amazing ideas, learn, like I feel like I have the best seat at the best show of my life right now.
What a good phase of your life right now.
I love it. And I'm just coaching these people, loving them like crazy, giving them, like just growing a team is the funnest part of this business.
Wow. You can see your leadership. Like you lead with title or without title.
Well, it's funny because I remember that Robin Sharma,
Thank you.
without a
Yes.
title. And, I recently went to a conference and I was talking to one of the big bosses of a Southern Ontario organization. So he's like, so where's the boss? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm not really sure who you're looking for. I'm like, maybe me. He goes, no, I mean the big boss. And I'm like, well, I still think you might be looking for me. And he's like, you're the big boss. He goes, honest to God, good for you. He said, you know what? He says, you just walk around supporting the team. He goes, I always thought you were an employee of Mandy or Mel. And he said, way to be. He said, a quiet leader that lets your team shine. And I was like, oh, just leading without a title. The guy I've been working with him for
Oh,
years didn't even know I was the boss.
that's amazing. I
I
love
know.
that because you let the team lead the success, but
For
you're
sure.
there to push them, to allow them to succeed.
Yeah. It was a compliment for sure.
Oh, wow. I hope you always remember that. And that kind of is your inspiration for your business model.
Yeah, that's for sure. And now we have an amazing CEO who is really making a difference in the community. She's pulled up her own seat to the table. She is working with the Ministry of Long-Term Care. She's friends with the Minister of Long-Term Care. She's friends with people, the higher ups in the sector. So I have no doubt that our little
Yeah.
Sudbury company that could is making a tremendous difference in this space.
I love that. You're putting Sudbury on the map.
Well, it's not just me. There's a lot of really, really incredible people putting Sudbury on the map, but I definitely have a lot of pride of being a woman who is making a difference out of Sudbury. I keep saying Silicon Sudbury, like, we don't have to move our tech company out of here. And I mean, I couldn't do it, Candace, if I didn't have some of the best mentors and people from this community on my team. Peter Dalbianco has been mentoring me for 10, 11 years. And you usually you'll outgrow a mentor at some point, but you cannot outgrow a mentor that refuses to stop growing. He's been a friend. He's been the devil's advocate. He's basically said sometimes, look at the writings on the wall, look at this, and has really helped me to create a super strong foundation for my business. When I think of my other partners like Joel Humphrey, my financial partner, really helped me to make sure that I had a very tight financial house, making sure, like I've always like you have to put money away to have a business, right? Cash flow is the way it happens. My marketing partners, my lawyers, like I'm surrounded by the best now. It took 13 years though. It didn't happen overnight.
Yeah,
Lots of
right.
mistakes, but
And it's when you get to that point, it sounds like it's easy. You have this like fabulous team, but you started with the first step when you had no employees.
oh, I was the first recruiter. I was the first CFO. I was the first marketing rep. I was everything. Um, but that's where I always say you have to be a technician first. You can't pass the baton or be a manager if you don't know how to do it. I can't, I have to do it. So even though like bookkeeping, not a strong point of mine at all. I had to do it. I had to do it. I had to do it. Interviewing, I did 400 interviews by myself in the first year. I don't ever want to do another interview. I will when I have to, but so you have to do that. And I often say too, hire six, keep two, like every time you hire, only one or two stay, like really good people. So it took me 13 years, we hired six, kept one or two, hired six. So now I have a team of 37, but I had to get rid of 85 to get rid of, and that could have been them just finding their own career and leaving, them not being a good team member and us having to fire. At the beginning, Candace, we'd keep people way over their welcome, way over their due because we needed people, growing people so good that people recruit them from us, So it took time, but we finally have this ball of workers who believe in the mission, who want to help, who come into work, jovial, dialed in. Our office, you'll have to visit us sometimes, quite the energetic little place in Sudbury.
That's fabulous. Where are you located?
We are on Notre Dame Avenue on the Elm side of Food Basics. So, like towards downtown in a big gray building, and we have the whole entire building.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You like that location?
Well, something, I wanted to be close to downtown. You know what? To me, business, downtown, epicenter, no parking. We do a ton of interviews. So getting as close to downtown was important. So I do like the location because there's a lot of parking, but we're literally a hop, skip, and a jump from downtown. First of all, and second of all, I have the best landlord in the whole wide world. His name is Fred St. Taj, and he used to be an entrepreneur here in this community. And he takes such good care of us. Like I couldn't ask for a better setup. The only thing is, Candace, is we're now outgrowing our space significantly.
What a
And
nice problem to have,
yeah, we need
right?
a coat. Yeah, we're like this, but we understand that that's part of the process.
Right. Well, that's massive. That's huge news.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, you're gonna have to find a bigger space. This is great. Have you been on any like local community TV news stations or anything talking about what you're doing?
I used to do a lot of that when I started, and I am not really doing that right now.
Right.
I did recently have the opportunity to speak, though. Like I was a speaker. I did a session at a conference about my strategy in Toronto, which was really exciting. And I did that with Mandy, which resulted in a further presentation to the Ontario Long-Term Care Association and their board members. So, things are happening. For me, I really identify, or I really most comfortable behind the scenes. I identify as the chief innovation officer, the chief love spreader. I love the marketing. Like people are often saying to me, "Oh, you've got to be a keynote." It's actually not even what I'm passionate about. It's more figuring. I don't want anyone to burn out as bad as I did again. You
Okay.
know, that's what happened. Nobody took care of me at all when I became a nurse. And I came into nursing, Ken, as pretty smart. Like I graduated with honors 4.0 every semester. I knew everything about nursing. I was physically fit. I was healthy. I was energetic. 3.5 years later, I was no longer that person. Now, obviously, I was paired in not the best career for me, right? Like, if uh, I was always meant to be entrepreneurial, and I was, as a young girl, told be a teacher, be a social worker, be a dental assistant. Every girl job you could think of, I did. Every girl job, okay. But no one ever said that. So I put myself in the wrong job. But the burnout, the every day, can you work? Can you work? Sheri, if you don't work, we have nobody. Oh, fine, I'll go to work. I'll go to work. My whole goal is that we take the guilt off of people for wanting to have a life on top of work. So I don't even know where we were going with that, but that is where what makes me
That's okay.
excited.
So with your daughter, because you're in such a powerful like leadership role. Yes, girl bosses. We don't hear about that when we're in school, when we're young. I didn't know I could be the CEO of a company or like run my life because I'm a boss lady. But do you encourage your daughter to be like the CEO one day of something huge because she's capable of it?
Yeah. Addison is, like I said, she is the thing I'm most grateful for. I never even understood what pride and joy meant until I met this kid. And, it's so interesting because I always communicate with her the same way I'm communicating with you, right? We're just very open. It's not to say I don't get mad sometimes and raise my voice at her. She's a teenager. That
Right.
also happens. But she's always seen me work really hard, and I've always like worked hard, rest hard, play hard. Like you can't work if you don't rest. You can't work hard if you don't celebrate and play. And so she's been raised seeing the benefits of hard work and this and that. And so what I find interesting, and I'm a planner, it's sometimes a gift, it's sometimes a fault, right? Like, I mean, I'm planned out right till the end of the summer, but I need to know that. But to some people, they're like, what do you mean? I don't even know what I'm doing next weekend. So anyways, what I'm getting at is she is a little bit of a planner, and she's 15. She's wrapping up grade 10 now. And the other day she says to me, this is what I'm going to do when I'm finished high school. So she wants to take marketing, Candace. She's really interested in
Hey.
studying marketing, and she knows that. So she says, first of all, I'm going to get a 4-year commerce degree here at Laurentian. I'm still going to be young. And, she says, I don't think I'm going to be ready to go. Yeah. So she goes, I'm going to study business. She goes, while I'm doing that, she goes, maybe I'll go talk to Rob Gregorini at Respect and see if I
Yeah.
can't get a bartending job for 4 years. She goes, or maybe I'll go to Pat Mario. She goes, but I want to get a bartending job at a local restaurant. And she goes, and then when I'm done that, she goes, I'd like to spend a couple of years as a stewardess and travel a bit and kind of waitress in the sky, take that experience that I had. And she goes, and then once I'm done that, she goes, I'm going to go to the best marketing school that I can find. She goes, so far I found one in Toronto, one in Vancouver, and one in New York. She goes, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm like, oh my
Oh.
God, you're 50 and I'm 50 and I don't have that mapped out. So it's really interesting to see that she can have some vision for her life based on the conversations we've had.
That's beautiful. She obviously has a great role model in her life.
I just think that like vision, like I didn't even know what vision for my life was until I
No.
was 35. I was just going with the flow. Oh, got a job here. Okay. Got a job here. Gonna pay that bill. Like there was not a lot of vision. You?
Right.
Oh, I got vision for sure.
Oh my gosh, my visions are morphing into something different lately, and you don't know until you step into that, like over or through that wall of fear, that invisible wall that feels quite real.
Oh yeah, and don't you find though, the more you do it, the like, I used to be just afraid of my own shadow, and then like
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of anything anymore, and I love it. Like I don't know if it's an age thing or obviously too when you start a business, I don't know if you've ever felt like this. You feel a little bit like an imposter at the beginning, like oh you're the CEO of what? Well, my home office,
Yeah,
my until you own, hey, I am a CEO, I am an entrepreneur. I felt I had a little bit of imposter, but now
yeah.
I know who I am, where I'm going, what do I want to do. I know my intentions are pure. And now I'm, yeah, you don't like me, it's okay, I'm not for everybody, and that's okay,
And
right?
we're following our own compass. So what,
Yes.
that quote, what other people think of us is none of our business.
My favorite quote,
Yes,
Candace. It's my favorite quote.
it's a good one.
Yeah.
And often we're so like, oh, what, I wonder what they'll think. Who cares? Who just do your best, put your best foot and effort forward, and that's the best you can do. Be
Yeah.
that boss lady in your life that you would love to look up to.
I love that. And you know what matters is what I think about myself. When I go to bed,
Yes.
and it's with a really soft pillow. Like people say, "Oh, how do you sleep? Like you must be so stressed out." No, because I always do the right thing. I always, you know what? Like I run my business with just the regular old golden rule and the virtues. Take care of people. Be honest. Be transparent. Don't screw people. Pay your bills. Put your card back. Like and so when I never have to wonder, did I hurt somebody? If I did, it's because they I didn't screw anybody today. Like so I can walk forward comfortably with my shoulders down, and I go to bed and I wake up knowing that it's easier to do the best you can than try to be shystery and sneaky, you know what I mean?
I love that. Why can't, if we could all have that outlook, wouldn't we find a lot more peace and
And
harmony?
you think most people are like that, but being in business, I've really learned that not everyone shares the same values, and that's why it takes you 13 years to build the right teams around you, because you work with a business and you're like, we don't have the same values. Okay, I got to change lawyers. Oh, we do have the same values. It's really surrounding yourself with the people that have exactly the same values. Their business mirrors yours.
Right,
That's how you build that ecosystem in your business.
right. Like, I'm about to make a business move that is good for, what do you call it? Like a reputation, maybe, but it's not going to make me any money. I'm okay with it because it's giving back to the community, and it's taking this podcast onto community TV.
Oh, well, good for you.
Thank
That is
you.
really, and I can't think of a better person. I find you're very engaging, and
I'm glad. And you know what? It's, again, it just highlights exceptional people in this community with exceptional stories doing exceptional work in our community, putting Sudbury on the map. And I am driven by passion and purpose. I cannot hide that, nor do I want to, because that's me. And yeah,
that's amazing. You could also create a system where you get your guest to tag your next guest and pay it forward, because you'll be able, you know what? Because like if somebody sees Debbie Nicholson doing this, then maybe you'll get, like, you know what I mean? You should say
yeah,
tag my next guest, and then they can help you
interesting.
create some people. You'll get, you can do it on your own, I have no doubt, but you tag someone, it's like it's on. Oh, okay, she did it, well now I'm gonna do it,
Yeah, for sure. Well, if you ever want to meet me in the studio, we'll talk about it. It'll be nice because there's a whole team, and these people are starting to volunteer to do the tech.
Good.
Like,
Good
how
for
did that just
you.
like fall into my lap?
It didn't.
Because
You
I'm
built.
creating and manifesting, like I'm creating my content, but these things that are happening right now, the full moon was on Saturday, and I manifested this beautiful man into my life, and everything's aligning. I'm like, I did that, thank you. The universe is like listening to
Nice.
my prayers. Yeah.
Well, listen, Mandy, that works in my office, my CEO, she right now, anything she touches turns to gold, anything. And I keep calling her Queen Midas. And it sounds like you're Queen Midas right now. And every once in a while in our lives we get the Midas touch, right? And it can last for a week, it can last for a month. It's not here to stay. But when you do get it, everything you want happens. So while it's there, you want to keep it going. So you keep doing you give back when you can, and that Midas touch will stay as long as you see you get it, you're grateful for it, you look up and you say every day, thank you, and that Midas touch stays as long as you're grateful. You get it, it comes and goes. I've had it a couple times too. Mandy has it right now, and I'm calling her Queen Midas. So you're Queen Midas, and right now it's because you manifested it. Anything you want right now will probably come to you. So keep it going, give back, whatever that might be. It just might be smiling to somebody. It might be holding the door. It might be giving a homeless guy the rest of your sandwich. Whatever you can do to keep giving, because the more you give, Candice, the more you're going to get right now.
That's the law of attraction. That's
Yeah.
that's karma. Often see, well, karma is a bad word. No, karma's beautiful. Like, you don't hang around with the same, like, you change your vibe if you don't think that karma is beautiful and it's meant for you.
Yeah. No, totally agree.
Yeah. I have the word grateful tattooed on me, and I also have the word gratitude tattooed on me. And like that leads, I lead with gratitude.
You have to. The
Yeah.
attitude. I have in front of me, I have, well, 5 words now. So it started off as 3 words. So 2 years ago, I identified 3 words that I wanted to use to um, create my leadership style. So it was, the 3 words were calm, and they're still written there: calm, confident, and courageous. So my first 3 words were all about me. The last year I added loving, because I thought I can be a calm and confident and courageous leader, but if I'm not loving to my people, it doesn't matter, because they need to know that they're loved. But then this year, so now I've got calm, confident, courageous, loving, and caring. Because loving, you can love people to death, but yeah, if you don't truly care about the answer, like I can say, how was your day? You look wonderful today. So you feel like I'm loving, but then you tell me, oh, this happened, and I'm like, oh, well, have a good day. It's a false love. So then I have to say, oh, so I've really, every year I want to add a word. So I'm much calmer, I'm confident, I'm courageous, I'm loving. This year it's about showing them that I do genuinely care. So I think
Just,
it's goals, right?
that's great. And you have to stop and listen when it's time to care for your people.
It's so funny that you say that, because right on top of those 5 words, it says listen with an underline.
Like, I've been a Toastmaster for 17 years, but I'm working on my listening skills. Like, especially in, like, with my podcast. Yes, of course I have to think about these questions. Nothing scripted. I take notes as we talk, but yes, I have to think about the next question. But in the same breath, I have to fully engage and listen to what is being shared throughout these conversations. And sometimes I have to remind myself to listen, because that makes a great leader and a great friend.
I think we're all working on it. I'm definitely working on that as well. I get very excited at work sometimes, but I'm definitely, and what I've often started doing is, Kate, I'm just gonna finish this thought, guys, and then it's all you. And then I sit back but like, I have to finish my thought, because if you take a pause and the thought's not out, we're discussing half of the thought, you know? So I can tell people want to talk, but I'm like, if I can just get this thought about, because it's about work, right? Then I'm gonna stop talking. So now I'm kind of, and then I get everything out I need to say, and then I sit back and just listen, take notes, let them talk.
And then you're present.
Yeah.
That's really hard to do sometimes, especially when you're running a business, to be present. What are we working towards if we can't be in the moment? Like, if, you know, if we're 37 or we're 50 years old and we haven't learned to be present, then what are we doing?
Yeah. And especially nowadays where, I mean, the distractions are coming at you at 100 miles an hour. Everything you do is on one device that's
Mhm.
stuck to you anywhere you want to go. I know in our own household we struggle a little bit with our daughter, with us, like the cell phones. Like we're really making that effort to put them away. But for my daughter, I mean, she's a teen on a cell phone, right? So, it definitely is a bit of an addiction for her. We're constantly, okay, put the phone away, put the phone away. You got to put the phone down. We're
It's
eating
it's
supper.
it's family time. Yeah. We struggle with that with my nephew as well. The other day, he kind of gave some lip and he said, like, grandma told him something, and he says, I am 10 years old. I am almost a teenager. You can't tell me what to do. And I said, that's enough of that. You don't speak to your elders like that. You have to show respect. That's no. Teenagers need to be respectful, and I'm just afraid of that, like, in a few years. It's just things are different. But he's addicted to that little remember the Game Boys? Well, it's called a Nintendo Switch, and it's a handheld device. But if he's not on the game, like, then he's on mom's phone. We need to disconnect. Like, one of my love languages, for example, is quality time. So if I'm out on a date or just talking with someone and their phone is away and they don't look at their phone, they're present with me. I know that they're speaking one of my love languages, and we need to learn how to do that more often. But I know, like, especially in business, oh, I have to check my email. I have to check my email. Someone texted me. I can't put it on silent because I'm running a business. Well, you can take 5 minutes to just listen.
Yeah. And I think, like, too, when I was at the beginning of running my business, I responded to everything with a sense of urgency. And while I still value a sense of urgency, don't get me wrong, it is one of my commitments in my business as I respond to my clients. It's okay if you're not responding 30 seconds later. And now I realize that. So, I used to be bing, 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 bing. I do turn it off, and I can go back to it once every hour, once every couple of hours. Mind you, I don't get the same level of emails I used to get because I have a team now too. So maybe that was it. But everything doesn't need to be their emergency. I have to fit it into what else I'm trying to do, because you can give up your own self-care pretty easily, always dealing with everybody else's major emergency. So that's one thing that has happened over the years for me, is I've calmed down on, okay, do I have to be in every conversation too? I don't.
No, you have to learn what your priorities are.
Yeah.
And that takes a long time to learn how to just let go and just, okay, I'll deal with it.
Yeah. So are you heading over to the Business Excellence Awards next at the end of this month?
I didn't even hear about that.
Well, it's an annual chamber event. I usually always attend, as I'm the wine sponsor, but unfortunately I'm going to be out of the province for this one. But Candace, I highly recommend, if you are a chamber member, you don't even have to be a chamber member to go. It is definitely your kind of party. Like, it's all dressed up. It's all the community players. Like, it's on the 25th of May. If you haven't gone, it's a really fun dinner and event.
The Business Excellence Awards.
Yeah, so the Bell Business Excellence Awards. So it's
Oh,
an
yeah.
awards ceremony for businesses all around Sudbury.
Beautiful.
and it's a chamber event at the it's at the Caruso Club.
Okay. How much are the tickets? I'm gonna,
They're
I,
probably about $80. Like they're not cheap.
I was talking to, it's interesting that you bring that up and you think that I'd be interested in that because those are my people. Because once a year, like I never get to like sit down and like connect with you. That's why I'm loving this episode. I see you every year at Easter Seals Dancing with the Stars because we see all our people, but then I see you there and I give you a hug and oh, it's so nice to see you. But we don't spend quality time together. It's just a hi, a hug, have a great night. But I've never actually sat down and talked about life or business with you.
Well, because we've just met, right, from being in the same circles in the same group.
Yeah.
We know each other a little bit more. And if you do have a chance to go to that event, it does have, you'll know, like everybody knows you. So it's, good.
We're all pretty connected in the community.
A small community, yeah.
It is. I love our small community, but it's growing. It's not as small as it used to be, like even 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
nice.
And it's fun. It's really a lot of fun to be part of a community in a small city like this, right? Because if you were in Toronto, we wouldn't be making the same impacts on our community. Let's be honest, there's 3 million people there, right? You wouldn't even know me. I wouldn't even know you. The chance of us even meeting, because
Yeah.
I think we met like Toastmasters, then some Boost, then this,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have even had that opportunity. Now I was at an event last week at the Pitch at the Sudbury Theater Center,
Okay.
and half the people there, like oh my God, hi, like it's just so nice to get out
Isn't
there. And
that
that's why,
great?
and that's the Business Excellence Awards
I
is
love
pretty
it.
much like that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Hmm.
Yeah. So do you have any more questions for me?
You gave me so much inspiration today. I
Well, thank
love I love how you are so grateful and you have this vision for your path and your community right now. I think you are on the right path.
Thanks.
You're welcome. And we made it to an hour.
Okay.
And I think I'm so grateful for spending time with you today, Sheri.
I'm really glad we could make it work, Candice, and I definitely apologize for that. But
Oh,
I
it's
have a
okay.
feeling we'll this will be the jumping off point for a nice long friendship between you and I for sure.
Yeah, I feel that too. Well, maybe I'll see you at one of the next community events.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah. Sheri Tomchick, everyone. Let's keep in touch, Sheri. This was great.
Thanks, Candice. It was a total pleasure to join you today.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.